The room fell silent as the holographic transmission flickered to life. Jae-hyun Park stood near the window of the United Global Research Center, his reflection casting a sharp shadow against the gleaming glass. The Galactic Council's representative, a translucent blue figure with elongated features, spoke with clinical precision. "Humanity has been evaluated," the alien voice announced, devoid of emotion. "Your species demonstrates consistent patterns of self-destruction, technological instability, and potential cosmic threat." Mina Kim, seated at the far end of the conference room, gripped her tablet so tightly her knuckles turned white. Around her, world leaders from every continent sat motionless. The message was clear. Earth was to be isolated, quarantined from the vast galactic civilization that existed beyond their solar system. The transmission detailed the Council's decision with bureaucratic coldness. Humanity would be contained. No interstellar communication, no technological exchange, no hope of expansion. Outside the window, Seoul's skyline continued its endless dance of lights and movement, completely unaware of the cosmic judgment just delivered. Jae-hyun watched a transport shuttle glide between skyscrapers, its electric hum a reminder of how far human technology had already come. "We reject your assessment." Dongwoo Lee, the lead diplomatic strategist, spoke quietly. His voice carried a steel that surprised even the alien transmission. "You do not understand humanity." The blue holographic figure didn't respond. It simply terminated the transmission, leaving behind a profound silence. In the weeks that followed, the world changed. Governments that had once competed now collaborated. Military budgets were immediately redirected into scientific research. Every university, every research center, every technological hub became a beacon of human potential. Yoona Choi, a brilliant propulsion engineer, found herself leading a team that would have been impossible just months earlier. National boundaries dissolved as scientists from different continents worked together, sharing resources, knowledge, and a singular vision. "They think we're primitive," she told her team during their first global conference. "We'll show them what humanity can truly achieve." The Galactic Council's quarantine was comprehensive. Advanced force fields surrounded Earth's solar system. Monitoring systems tracked every potential transmission. Sophisticated technology ensured that humans would remain exactly where the Council wanted them, isolated and contained. What the Council didn't understand was human adaptability. In research centers across the planet, scientists began reimagining everything. Quantum computing accelerated. Energy research transformed. Material science reached breakthrough after breakthrough. What would have taken decades now happened in months. Jae-hyun's team developed communication protocols that could potentially bypass the most advanced blocking systems. Mina's quantum network began exploring dimensions of data transfer previously considered impossible. Dongwoo's diplomatic strategies prepared humanity for potential future interactions. The isolation became a catalyst, not a limitation. Military complexes that once prepared for terrestrial conflicts now focused on potential cosmic challenges. Space programs, previously competitive and fragmented, merged into a unified global initiative. Every resource, every bit of human potential was directed toward a single goal, proving the Galactic Council wrong. Young students in classrooms across the world learned about the isolation. Instead of feeling defeated, they felt challenged. Science became a national priority. Engineering became a global passion. The rejection by cosmic civilizations transformed into a source of unprecedented motivation. Jae-hyun remembered watching his daughter build complex robotic systems, her small, hands moving with precision that would have been impossible a generation earlier. She looked up at him and smiled. "We'll show them, Papa," she said, her eyes bright with determination. The Galactic Council believed they were containing a threat. Instead, they were providing humanity with its greatest opportunity. As months turned into years, Earth transformed. Cities became more efficient. Energy systems became cleaner. Communication networks became more sophisticated. The isolation was teaching humanity lessons about cooperation, innovation, and collective potential. Dongwu Li often reminded his colleagues of a simple truth: they abandoned us, but we will make them remember us. The stars outside continued to shine, silent witnesses to humanity's quiet revolution. The Galactic Council's force fields might contain their physical movement, but they could never contain human imagination, resilience, and spirit. Something remarkable was brewing on a small blue planet, something the vast ancient galactic civilization had completely underestimated. Humanity was preparing. 5 years after the Galactic Council's isolation, Earth pulsed with a new energy. Mina Kim stood in her laboratory, surrounded by holographic displays that danced with quantum computing algorithms. The room hummed with potential, a microcosm of humanity's transformed approach to innovation. Global resources that once fueled military conflicts now powered scientific research. Universities across continents merged their best minds. What used to take decades now happened in months. The isolation had become humanity's unexpected blessing. Jaehyun Park's daughter, now 15, watched her father's team develop breakthrough energy systems. Fusion reactors that once seemed like distant dreams were now becoming operational prototypes. The young girl understood something profound. Limitation breeds innovation. In Tokyo, a research team led by Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka developed a revolutionary communication network that could potentially penetrate the Galactic Council's blocking systems. Their quantum entanglement technology suggested that information could move in ways previously thought impossible. Dongwu Li monitored global progress from the United Global Research Center. His job was no longer about diplomatic negotiations, but about coordinating humanity's collective response to cosmic isolation. Every breakthrough, every technological advance, was another statement to the universe. Yuna Choi's propulsion research took unexpected turns. By studying quantum mechanics and advanced material sciences, her team discovered methods of manipulating space-time that existed beyond traditional physics. What seemed like science fiction was becoming scientific reality. Schools transformed. Education systems that once focused on competitive learning now emphasized collaborative problem-solving. Students learned not just to memorize, but to innovate. Every classroom became a potential birthplace of the next world-changing idea. Global energy networks became self-sustaining. Solar farms in the Sahara connected with wind systems in the North Sea. Fusion reactors in China complemented geothermal systems in Iceland. Humanity was learning to work as a single integrated system. The isolation had another unexpected consequence: environmental healing. Without the distraction of international conflicts, nations redirected resources into sustainable technologies. Carbon emissions dropped. Renewable energy became the global standard. Satellite networks that once tracked military movements now monitored global ecosystems. Climate restoration projects emerged in regions previously considered wastelands. The planet itself seemed to breathe differently. Artificial intelligence systems developed by international teams began solving complex problems. Medical research accelerated. Genetic therapies that seemed impossible became standard treatments. Diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries were now treatable. Jaehyun watched his daughter work on a complex robotic system, her fingers moving with precision across holographic interfaces. She represented a new generation, born into isolation, raised with a singular understanding that humanity's potential was limitless. "We're not just surviving," Dongwu often said in global briefings. "We're preparing." Research stations spread across Earth's most challenging environments. Antarctic bases became advanced technological hubs. Desert research centers developed water generation technologies. Mountain observatories pushed the boundaries of astronomical understanding. The Galactic Council's monitoring systems continued to track Earth, expecting signs of conflict or regression. Instead, they would have seen something extraordinary: planet transforming, a species evolving at an unprecedented rate. Mina's quantum computing networks began exploring communication dimensions that existing physics struggled to explain. Her team's work suggested that information could move through spaces previously considered impossible. Space programs, once competitive, now worked as a unified global initiative. Every rocket launch, Every satellite deployment carried the collective hope of a species determined to prove its worth. Young scientists from Brazil worked alongside researchers from Russia. Engineers from India collaborated with teams in Canada. The old boundaries of nationality dissolved, replaced by a more profound identity. Human technological breakthroughs happened weekly. What would have taken generations now occurred in months. Propulsion systems that could potentially manipulate space-time. Communication networks that could bypass traditional electromagnetic constraints. Energy systems that could power entire continents with minimal environmental impact. Yuna's latest propulsion prototype suggested faster-than-light travel might be possible. Dongwu's diplomatic strategies prepared for potential future interactions. Jaehyun's communication systems pushed the boundaries of quantum entanglement. The Galactic Council had abandoned Earth believing they were containing a threat. Instead, they had unknowingly sparked humanity's most significant evolutionary leap. Something remarkable was brewing on a small blue planet, and the universe was about to take notice. The moment arrived quietly, without dramatic fanfare. Dongwu. Lee watched the first human interstellar ship, the ISV Resilience, prepare for launch. 10 years of preparation had culminated in this single moment. Yuna Choi's propulsion system looked deceptively simple. Sleek titanium quantum alloy hull, compact reactor core that seemed to bend physical laws. Inside the control room, a diverse crew of 12 represented humanity's first cosmic ambassadors. Captain Jaehyun Park adjusted his navigation systems. The ship's quantum communication array hummed with potential. Their mission was clear: penetrate the Galactic Council's quarantine zone and demonstrate humanity's technological evolution. Earth's monitoring stations held collective breath. Millions watched live transmissions, understanding this was more than a mission. This was humanity's statement to the universe. The Resilience moved differently. Traditional physics suggested its movements were impossible. It didn't travel through space so much as fold space around itself. Quantum algorithms predicted trajectories that defied conventional understanding. Galactic Council monitoring stations first registered the anomaly as a statistical error. Their advanced tracking systems couldn't comprehend the ship's movement. When they realized it was real, panic spread through their communication networks. Unknown vessel approaching restricted zone. A Zarnik communication officer reported, his translucent blue skin shifting with confusion. Impossible navigation. Parameters detected. The ship carried no traditional weapons. Instead, it demonstrated something far more powerful: technological superiority through pure scientific innovation. Mina Kim's communication protocols activated. The Resilience began transmitting data streams that simultaneously challenged and impressed the monitoring systems. Complex mathematical sequences, quantum encryption patterns, and technological schematics that revealed humanity's unprecedented advancement. Captain Park remained calm. Years of preparation, thousands of simulations had prepared him for this moment. His crew represented humanity's best: scientists, engineers, diplomats, each selected not just for skills, but for their ability to represent human potential. The Galactic Council's defensive platforms activated. Energy shields shimmered, preparing potential interception. But the Resilience moved through them like water through a loosely woven net. No aggression, no destruction, just pure, elegant navigation. Communication attempts from the Council were met with sophisticated response protocols. Dongwu's diplomatic algorithms translated potential threat languages in real time. The human response was clear: we are here to communicate, not to fight. Quantum communication arrays began exchanging information at rates previously unimaginable. The Resilience wasn't just passing through, it was demonstrating humanity's technological leap. Complex scientific data, medical breakthroughs, environmental restoration techniques, all transmitted simultaneously. Inside the Council's primary communication hub, senior representatives watched in stunned silence. The primitive species they had abandoned had not only survived, but had transformed into something utterly unexpected. They've developed technologies beyond our comprehension, a senior Zarnik administrator whispered. How is this possible? The ship's approach was deliberate, almost philosophical. Each movement calculated to demonstrate capability without aggression. No weapons fired, no threats made, just pure, elegant technological demonstration. Mina's communication protocols carried an underlying message. Humanity was ready, not as a threat but as a potential partner. The data stream suggested a civilization that had learned from its past, focused on progress, cooperation, and scientific understanding. Aboard the Resilience, the crew remained focused. Years of training, psychological preparation, and scientific discipline defined their approach. They weren't conquerors. They were ambassadors of human potential. Galactic Council defensive systems, considered the most advanced in known space, found themselves completely neutralized, not through force but through technological sophistication that rendered their systems almost primitive. Captain Park's final transmission was simple, yet profound. We are humanity. We are here to communicate. The universe watched. A small blue planet had just changed everything. The demonstration began with calculated precision. Unichoi's technological systems transformed the Resilience into something beyond a mere spacecraft. It became a living testimony of human innovation. Galactic Council representatives watched in total disbelief. The human vessel moved through their most advanced defensive platforms like water through silk. No weapons fired, no aggressive movements, just pure technological superiority. Dongwu Li had prepared every potential communication scenario. His team's diplomatic algorithms translated complex intentions with remarkable clarity. The message was simple. Humanity was not a threat but a potential partner. Captain Jae-hyun Park understood the psychological warfare of technology. Each movement of the Resilience was a carefully choreographed display of scientific mastery. The Worry ship didn't just navigate. It danced through impossible spatial configurations. Mina Kim's quantum communication systems began transmitting breakthrough after breakthrough. Medical research that could cure genetic disorders. Environmental restoration. Techniques, advanced energy solutions. Each transmission was a subtle challenge to the Council's perception of humanity. The defensive platforms, considered the most advanced in galactic history, found themselves completely neutralized. Sophisticated tracking systems couldn't predict the Resilience's movements. Blocking mechanisms dissolved before they could even activate. One by one, the Council's technological defenses were systematically demonstrated as obsolete. Not through destruction, but through elegant technological superiority. The human vessel moved with a grace that suggested understanding beyond physical movement. Inside the Council's primary observation station, senior representatives watched in stunned silence. The species they had abandoned had not just survived, they had evolved beyond all expectations. They've developed technologies that challenge our entire understanding, a senior administrator whispered, his translucent form shifting with confusion. The demonstration carried multiple layers of meaning. Each technological bypass was a statement. Humanity was showing strength through intelligence, not violence. Every system neutralized was done with surgical precision, without causing damage. Quantum communication arrays began exchanging complex, scientific data, medical breakthroughs, environmental restoration techniques, energy solutions that could transform entire planetary ecosystems. The information flow was overwhelming in its complexity and potential. Aboard the Resilience, the crew remained calm. Years of psychological training, scientific discipline, and collaborative preparation defined their approach. They weren't conquerors. They were ambassadors of human potential. Jaehyun's daughter, now part of the communication team, managed complex data streams with remarkable composure. She represented a generation born into isolation, raised with a singular understanding of humanity's limitless potential. The ship's movement defied traditional physics. It didn't travel through space so much as fold space around itself. Quantum algorithms predicted trajectories that previous scientific models considered impossible. Council monitoring systems found themselves completely outmatched. Traditional tracking mechanisms failed. Predictive algorithms collapsed. The human vessel moved with an intelligence that suggested something beyond mere technological advancement. Dongwu's diplomatic protocols carried an underlying message of cooperation. Each transmission suggested humanity was not seeking conflict, but understanding. The data stream spoke of a civilization that had learned from its past, focused on progress and collective growth. The demonstration lasted less than 3 standard galactic hours, but in that time, everything changed. The Galactic Council's perception of humanity transformed from a potential threat to an unexpected possibility. No weapons were fired, no threats were made, just pure, elegant, technological demonstration. Captain, Park's final transmission captured the moment perfectly. We are prepared to communicate. We are here as potential partners. The universe watched. A small blue planet had just rewritten the rules of cosmic interaction. In boardrooms, research centers, and communication hubs across the galaxy, one question emerged. Who were these humans? And what did their arrival mean for everything known? The demonstration was complete. Humanity had spoken, not with violence but with science, not with aggression but with potential. The Galactic Council would never be the same. Something remarkable had arrived from a small, previously overlooked planet, and the universe was about to take notice. The negotiation room buzzed with an electric tension. Jae-hyun Park stood calm, his posture speaking volumes about humanity's newfound confidence. Across the holographic table, Galactic Council representatives shifted uncomfortably. Dongwoo Lee presented humanity's terms. They weren't requesting membership. They were defining the conditions of their cosmic integration. Each word was carefully chosen, each proposal a demonstration of strategic brilliance. We are not asking for permission, Dongwoo explained. We are offering cooperation. Mina Kim's technological demonstrations had already shattered the Council's preconceptions. Her quantum communication systems had revealed humanity's scientific breakthroughs in medicine, environmental restoration, and energy production. The data was overwhelming. The Council's senior representatives recognized they were no longer in a position of judgment. Humanity had transformed from an isolated species to a potential galactic game-changer in just a decade. Yuna Choi's propulsion technologies became the centerpiece of negotiations. Her systems could manipulate space-time in ways that made traditional galactic travel look primitive. Each technical explanation was another nail in the Council's outdated perspective. Negotiations weren't about punishment or restriction anymore. They were about potential partnership. Humanity presented itself not as a conquered species, but as an equal, perhaps even a superior technological civilization. The terms were clear: full galactic membership, technology exchange programs, research, collaboration across multiple scientific domains. Humanity wasn't just asking to join, they were redesigning the entire membership concept. Council representatives realized something profound. The species they had once dismissed had become their most interesting potential ally. Humanity's rapid, technological evolution suggested capabilities beyond traditional understanding. We require nothing, Jae-hyun stated during a critical moment. We are offering everything. The statement hung in the room, powerful and transformative. No species had ever approached galactic integration with such confidence. No civilization had ever demonstrated such rapid, comprehensive evolution. Medical research teams from Earth presented cure protocols for genetic disorders that had plagued multiple galactic civilizations for centuries. Environmental restoration techniques could potentially heal damaged planetary ecosystems. Quantum communication systems developed by Mina's team suggested information exchange methods that challenged existing technological paradigms. The Council's most advanced systems looked primitive in comparison. Diplomatic strategies prepared by Dongwoo's team demonstrated a nuanced understanding of interstellar politics that surprised veteran Council members. Humanity had not just survived isolation, they had used it as a transformative opportunity. The negotiation lasted 3 standard galactic cycles. Each session revealed another layer of human potential. Energy solutions, medical breakthroughs, technological innovations, psychological adaptation strategies. Humanity wasn't just seeking membership, they were offering a complete reimagining of cosmic collaboration. Council records would later note this as a pivotal moment in galactic history, the day a previously isolated species redefined interstellar relationships, the moment when humanity transformed from an abandoned civilization to a potential leading force. Yuna's propulsion technologies suggested faster-than-light travel methods that could revolutionize cosmic exploration. Mina's communication systems promised information exchange beyond current technological limitations. Dongwu's diplomatic strategies suggested a cooperative model that could transform galactic interactions. The final agreement wasn't a surrender or an acceptance. It was a new beginning. Humanity would enter the galactic community not as a junior member, but as a transformative force. Their decade of isolation had been their greatest strength, a period of unprecedented innovation and collective growth. Jaehyun's daughter, watching the negotiations, understood something her parents' generation had discovered. Limitation was just another word for opportunity. The universe watched. A small blue planet had just changed everything. Redemption was complete. Expansion had begun.